ముందుగా ప్రియమైన విద్యార్థులకు మరియు వారి తల్లిదండ్రులకు నమస్కారం. నా పేరు కె వెంకన్న జూనియర్ కాలేజ్ చైర్మన్. నేను ఈ రోజు 10th క్లాస్ విద్యార్థులను దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని మాట్లాడడం జరుగుతుంది. అది ఏమిటనగా, మనందరికీ తెలుసు, గత 2 సంవత్సరాలుగా కరోనా కారణంగా విద్యార్థులు ఎటువంటి పరీక్షలు రాయకుండానే పై తరగతులు పంపడం జరుగుతుంది. ఫలితంగా ఐఐటి జేఈ మరియు నీట్ లాంటి జాతీయ స్థాయి పరీక్షలను సాధించడం కష్టతరం అవుతుంది. దీనిని అధిగమించడానికి మరియు 10వ తరగతి పరీక్షలో అత్యధిక మార్కులు సాధించడానికి నేను మీ ముందుకు కె వెంకన్న జూనియర్ కాలేజ్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ద్వారా అనుభవజ్ఞులైన అధ్యాపకులచే ఉచిత వీడియో క్లాసులు, హ్యాండ్ రిటన్ నోట్స్ మరియు గత ప్రశ్నపత్రాల సమాధానాల విశ్లేషణ ఇవ్వబడును. కాబట్టి నేను విద్యార్థులకు చెప్పదలుచుకున్నది ఏంటంటే, ఈ ఉచిత వీడియో క్లాసులను మరియు హ్యాండ్ రిటన్ నోట్స్లను క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో కూర్చొని చదువుకున్నంత సీరియస్ చదువుకోవాలను. ఇంకొకటి ఏమిటనగా, ఈ యొక్క క్లాసులు విన్న వెంటనే అర్థం చేసుకొని ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయవలను. ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయడం అంటే కేవలం చదవడం కాదు, పేపర్ మీద రాయవలను. అలాగైతే గుర్తుండిపోతుంది. దీంతో పాటు మీ యొక్క నాలెడ్జ్ ని పరీక్షించుకున్న కొరకు త్వరలో ప్రీ ఫైనల్ పరీక్షలు కూడా నిర్వహించబడు. ఈ యొక్క అవకాశాన్ని సద్వినియోగం చేసుకోవాలని 10th చదివే విద్యార్థులకు విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తున్నాను.
And what is the next one? What we are talking about? Land and water relationships. The relationship between the land and the water, this is what we are going to focus on. And southern India has larger coastline. As in the first point, the latitude, we have discussed that southern part of the country has, very true, it is a large coastal line which is under the influence of the sea, which is highly under the influence of the sea. Okay, and the differences between the temperature of day and night of winter and summer is also not much. Because of the influence of the sea, the differences between the day and night between the summer and winter is also not much. But you get into the northern part of the country, you will say predominantly difference. In the northern part of the country, the winters, the days are very small. Yes, because of the winters, the days are very small and the summers are long. But unlike in the northern part of the country, the southern part of the country, why? Because we are under the influence of the coastal line, influence of the sea. There is hardly any difference between the day and the night. Hardly any difference, but we'll have a little amount of difference in the weather conditions as well as the climatic conditions. But the day and night remains almost similar. Will not have predominantly, there is no dramatically, there is no drastic change in the day as well as the night. But when it come across the northern part of the country, there is a drastical change in the north, in the winter, as in the day and night, especially between the winter, especially in the day and night, will have a drastic and dramatical change, because the Tropic of Cancer lies there in temperate zone and here it lies in the tropical zone. That was what we studied in the latitude, the point. And now coming back, see, if you focus, when you are talking about the land water relationship, remember two things: the coastal area which influence the southern part of the country, and when you are talking about, just talk about the day and nights. This is how the climatic conditions and weather conditions influence on the land water relationships. And now coming back to the third point of this climatic conditions and the weather and the climatic conditions which will really influence, the third one is the relief. What do you mean by relief? Relief means what? What do you mean by the word relief says? You know, having some solace, being comfortable. What is this relief? How do we get that, and how can this word impacts the climatic and the weather conditions of a country? Now see, for example, hill stations, like I am talking about the hill stations like Shimla, Nainital and Darjeeling, they have a cooler climate. They all have a cooler climate. And Udagamandalam, Ooty, sorry to interrupt you students, you can always get 1 mark question in this. Udagamandalam, what is the other name of Ooty? You can call it as Udagamandalam. Or what is the other name of Ooty or other name of Udagamandalam? Udagamandalam is always called as Ooty, Ooty is always called as Udagamandalam. Just remember this, okay? Udagamandalam also has cooler climate. As I said, relief when we are talking about, we are quoting 2 examples here: Shimla, Nainital, Darjeeling, Udagamandalam, whatever you want you can tell that, but the places are pretty cool even in the summer zone, summertime. Why do you think so? What is the reason that in the summer these places are pretty comparatively cool, not pretty cool as in winters, but what is the reason that they are cooler even in the summer? We find a cute summer, you know, all the sweating out and all, we want to sit under the fans, and if possible we can utilize some ACs and all, basing on the comfort. But in that case, in the same summer, in the same country, these places are so different. Why is that so? That's so cool. Have you ever thought? This is a very logical reasoning. Why temperature decreases as the altitude increases. The altitude, as you grow higher, the temperature always decreases. This is the temperature always decreases as you go even more higher. For example, I will tell you, even in sometimes you go to Tirupati, majority of you must have gone to Tirupati. When you go to Tirupati, when you are just getting out of the train, you will find so hot and all. But as you keep growing up onto the hills, what do you find? You find it's a lovely atmosphere, you start enjoying your places, right? Why is that so? As the altitude grows high, what happens? The temperature decreases. And where are all these hill stations located? You are saying it as hill stations. They all are located on a higher altitude where the temperature is always low. So remember this, obviously. Relief, this is how the relief features works on the climatic and the weather conditions of the country. We are talking about our country, India. And now, hence obviously hills and mountains will have as the same thing. As such, because as the altitude grows up, the temperature falls down. Because of all these things, you will have your hill stations, the temperature very low and a very pleasant effect. Now, in the summer only, when the temperature conditions in these hill stations is very pleasant, when it comes to the winter, imagine the temperature is already, the climate is already showing its influence, and obviously even in the higher altitudes the winter is also even more, the temperature even falls down, and that is the reason when you get into Himalayas and some other places you have snowfall. Very simple logic, right? I am explaining all these topics putting into consideration only exam point of view. So, the points which are being displayed on the board, the points which I am explaining you just get across and pen down in your papers. Believe me, you are going to get good marks. You are going to get full 4 out of 4 marks. I am not getting into the depth of the topic because of the limited amount of time what we have. I want all my students getting the best marks, getting good satisfaction. So, obviously, in point of exam point of view, we are discussing all these topics. And again, I am telling you, this is one of the very, very important topics we will have to consider. I think we are done with this topic. Now, let us get into the next topic. What is that? The last point of this factors which influence the climatic and the weather conditions are upper atmospheric locations. Right, students. So, the climate of India, just go through this, the climate of India is also affected by the movement of upper air currents, and there are certain things called as jet streams. What are these jet streams? Jet streams. What is the jet streams? Again you might be getting a 1 mark answer. Can you please define jet streams? What are jet streams? Explain jet streams. So, obviously, in 2 marks also you might get a question asking that explain about jet streams. Then you will have to write whole of this stuff if it comes for 2 marks. Okay. Now, just go through this board, what is it written here? Climate of India, right? Climate of India is also affected by the movement of upper air currents called as jet streams. Climate of India is also affected by the upper air currents which are called as the upper air currents, which influence dramatically on the climatic conditions of the India. What are they called as? The air currents, the upper air currents. What are they called as? Jet streams. The name itself, jet, means what? They move so fastly. The air currents, they move so fastly. In our childhood days, ఇంట్లో చెప్తూ ఉంటారు కదా, జెట్ స్పీడ్గా పరిగెడతాడు వాడు అని. What does that mean? Somebody picks up so fast and moves so fastly. What is that called as? It is called as jet streams. So, the name itself says that the air currents are so fast in that, because of which we got the name as jet streams. Okay. Fast flowing air currents, what is a tendency? How do you understand jet streams even more better? See, you have fast flowing air currents. As I said right now, jet streams means what? They move so fastly. The pace of their movement is very high. అవి చాలా ఫాస్ట్గా పరిగెత్తుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటాయి. So, obviously, what is it called as? Fast flowing air currents. And what is the speed they have? About 12,000 meters. Imagine, it's not a small number, it's a bigger number. the wink of the eye, everything is being done. So obviously that is why they are called as jet streams. Anta veganga పరిగెడతాయి వెళ్తాయి కాబట్టి they are called as jet streams. And what is the speed they move across? Above they're not even saying, they're not stopping there 12,000. Above 12,000 meters is not at all a small speed. They move so fast, the jet streams, and that is the reason they are called as jet streams. And the speed varies from about 120 kilometers in summer.
Hello students, my name is R.K. Pandey. I have done my B.Tech from IIT Kanpur from electrical engineering. I teach chemistry in K. Venkana classes. I head the chemistry department. The main facility of K. Venkana classes is all the faculty are very rich in experience, and they have taught students who have secured single and double digits. They have got very good ranks in JEE and NEET. So if you are serious for your career and if you want to pursue your career in engineering or medical, you are surely welcome here. The facilities includes not only the top tier teachers, but the other facilities like doubt clearing sessions and other academic as well as personal treatment that is provided by this institute.
To 184 kilometers. See, in summer it is 110 kilometers per hour, and in the winters it is 184 kilometers per hour. Because of the speed they move, what are they moving? The upper air currents. Because of the speed they move, you call it as a jet streams. అవి ఎంత వేగంగా పరిగెడతాయి అంటే, the number, always remember this number. This is a very important, and you get it even this in your fill in the blanks. What the speed of the jet streams is, then write 12,000 meters, right? So, and now jet streams, with this we complete the most important topic in the climate. What are the factors that influence the weather and the climatic conditions? I think it's very clear, students. At the end of the lesson, we will have an overall view of all the points again. Now, let's go on to the next topic, which is retreating monsoon. What is retreating monsoon? Since our childhood we have been listening these words, monsoons, climate, weather and all. Let me not get into these words, this gambling of these words. Now let me explain you what is retreating monsoon. There is a topic called as retreating monsoon in the climate of India. So this might even come for you as 2 marks answer, you might get, or even 1 mark answer. Topic at the end of the lesson I will explain what are the important topics in the exam point of view, but when I am telling you the lesson I will surely make it a point to tell you what is the most important topics from the exam point of view. The whole of the lesson explanation is framed in such a way considering the exam point of view. Considering only the exam point of view, because all my students, again telling you, emphasizing, because of the minimal amount of the time we need to avail all the gist of the topic. So obviously trying to focus on all these things. Now get back to this retreating monsoon. What is retreating monsoon? What is retreating monsoon? The whole of the year is being divided into different climates, right? Now talking about retreating monsoon emphasizes on the October to November. What is this October to November? October to November is a period of transition. You will be having extreme summer. After summer we get rainy season. After rainy season, what do we get? We get across winter season, right? So obviously October, November, these all are almost like getting into the winters and all. Winter, you will have winters in December and January. But what is this October and November? What is this retreating monsoon? October and November only. October and November is a period of transition. See, from hot to wet condition. What did they mention? Hot wet condition. Have you observed these words? How do you remember these words, hot wet condition or winter dry? There is always a probability that you might get confused and write it as hot dry conditions or winter wet. No, don't get confused. I'll give you a simple trick. See, hot wet. When it is hot, what happens? You sweat a lot, and when you sweat a lot, what does it come out of it? Wet, right? So obviously October to November, when you're talking about the retreating monsoon, you have hot wet conditions. It's a transition period. When you have hot wet conditions, it's very hot, and obviously your skin starts leaving out the sweat. So obviously remember that way, hot wet conditions, as well as in winter all the moisture in the body is being absorbed, and obviously skin becomes even more dry when you start applying different cold creams and all to retain the moisture of your body. So obviously what is the tendency? In the hot, your body sweats. In the winter, your body becomes even more drier. So, and remember these things like that. In the hot wet conditions to dry winter conditions, this is, we are talking about retreat monsoon. So, obviously we spoke about the, how do you identify even more retreat monsoons? You will have clear skies, obviously because the rainy season is gone. You come the summer season, after summer what do you have? You got across your rainy season. In the rainy season the clouds are not clear, but when you're talking about the retreating monsoon, especially in the October to November, you have very clear skies. You can see very clear skies, no thunderbolts, no clouds, and nothing is there. Okay, clear skies, and land is moist. You have moisture in the land. Land is moist, and owing to the conditions of high temperature and humid weather, చెమట ఎక్కువగా అంటే హ్యూమిడ్ వెదర్, హ్యూమిడిటీ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది ఆ టైంలో వెదర్లో. అటు ఎక్కువ ఎండ కాదు, ఎక్కువ చలి కాదు, మధ్యస్థంగా ఉంటుంది, విచ్ ఇస్ సో ఇరిటేటింగ్. దట్ ఈస్, ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ రీట్రీటింగ్ మాన్సూన్. అంత ఎక్కువ ఎండ ఉండదు, అంత ఎక్కువ చల్లగాను ఉండదు. ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఎ మిక్స్డ్ బ్యాగ్. సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ యాజ్ ఐ సెడ్, హాట్ వెట్ and yes. So obviously owing to the conditions of high temperature and humid conditions, these become very oppressive, means what, very bothering and very pathetic, and all this become very oppressive, and this is called as October heat. Now what is October heat? You call it, this whole part of it, what do you call it as? October heat. Somebody can ask you what is an October heat, the question comes, write the whole of this stuff. And what is a retreating monsoon? October heat comes in the retreating monsoon only. Write this across, there is no confusion. The same words they ask you, just pen down all these points which are being told to you. Now again, just trying to drill. Retreating monsoon, when do you get, what is the period? Right students, October to November. Once the November is in, obviously in the December and all, the winters, the acute winter starts coming across. It's like, it's like a small trailer introduction to the winter, just giving that, leaving behind the summer and stepping into the winter. You have October to November, which is called as the retreating monsoon, right? More topic in this climate change, wherein we have to consider from the exam point of view. Students, remember one thing very crystal clear. I am here not into the depth of the lesson. To certain extent, I am focusing only from the exam point of view because of the very minimal amount of time what we have. My intention is only one thing. All my students who are seeing this video and hearing this video, what should they do? They should be affected. ఈ వీడియో చూసిన ప్రతి ఒక్కళ్ళు దీని నుండి లబ్ధి పొందాలి, లాభం పొందాలి. ఈ వీడియో, what is it we are putting in consideration and doing? Exam point of view only we are doing these things, right? So the next topic what we'll have to cover in the climate changes of India, the most important topic is global warming. You must have been listening this word always, global warming. Chala high-fi word under global warming antaru, but what is this global warming? Globe ante oka pedda globe ni evaro kinda manta pedte vedekipotama? No, it's not like that. Then what is global warming? Everybody says whenever you go across, you go for elections and debates, what is the common topic given? Global warming and its effects. But how many of us really understand what is global warming and what are the effects? Are we a part of that global warming? How does human race, all the races are being affected by the global warming? So now let's get into this topic, global warming, the most important, one of the most important topics of a lesson. The lesson climate changes of India. Let us get into this topic, global warming. Please see onto the board, okay? The points which I am going to say, I have penned down on the board so that it will be easy for you to cope up even you miss one of my single point when I am saying it. Global warming. What is global warming? Human activities contribute to the climate change by causing changes in Earth's atmosphere. Human activities, మనుషులు చేసే పనులు. Nature will never harm any nature anytime. It is we the human beings, in fact precisely even animals also does not contribute to the global warming. We human because of our greed and because of our extra greed, because our activities contribute to the global warming. This is what is being mentioned here. Somebody asks you what is the definition of global warming, what is the first sentence will start off? Human activities is the first word which you should start off with. Global warming, very true students. Human activities contribute to the climate change by causing changes in the Earth's atmosphere. We, before different activities, we contribute to the change of the atmosphere, causing global warming. There are two most important components which will contribute to the global warming. What are they? I did not mention it here, but carbon dioxide and methane. These two gases play a very vital role in the global warming. We'll have to minimize them. So now we'll get into these carbon dioxide and methane. We'll just get into it, but let us come step by step. Now you understood what is global warming. Human activities contribute to the global change, to the climate change, by causing changes in the Earth's atmosphere in amounts of greenhouse gases. You might be getting an objective. What are greenhouse gases? Greenhouse gases are, what will you write then? Carbon dioxide and methane. Very true, these are two other greenhouse gases effects, always remember. And now the next point is, largest contribution comes from burning fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? The word fossil fuels, you will be getting it even in biology. Not only in class 10, you have been studying, listening this word from your class 8, 9 and all these classes, right. So what is fossil fuels? What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are nothing but the charcoal and the wood which we burn, right, and obviously petrol, all these things come across the fossil fuels. And what is the point here? The largest contribution comes from the burning of fossil fuels which release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I said in this first point, when the greenhouse gases effect, I said two gases are the greenhouse gases effect. What are they? Carbon dioxide and methane. How is carbon dioxide being released? By the burning of the fossil fuels, carbon dioxide is being released. Do you think carbon dioxide is healthy for us? What do we inhale? What do we take in? We take in carbon dioxide and we release out carbon dioxide. We take in oxygen, sorry students, we take in oxygen and leave out carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not healthy for us. Carbon dioxide in abundance is absolutely not healthy for anybody, and it attributes to the global warming. And burning of the fossil fuels like coal and all other ingredients etc. will always release only carbon dioxide, will release only carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And now coming to the third point, greenhouse gases affect climate by altering incoming solar radiation. We all know that there is solar energy, there are solar radiation which comes across from us, yes. And how does greenhouse gases affect the global warming? Very simple and a precise point. Greenhouse gases means, what are greenhouse gases here? Carbon dioxide and methane. Very true, don't get confused students. Greenhouse gases affect climate by altering incoming solar radiations, and outgoing infrared radiations. The infrared radiations will go out and the solar radiations will come in. But because of this greenhouse gas effects, this is being disturbed. There is a disturbance in the ecosystem. Whenever there is a disturbance in the ecosystem, we will have to face the consequences. What is ecosystem? The place where Mother Nature has given us in abundant form. We are trying to muddle it out and disturb everything. Amma prakriti manaki ichina danni manam em chestunnamo, nasanam chestunnam. Danvalla em avutundi? It contributes to the global warming obviously.